Hey guys, what's up? It's Jules for What Culture Wrestling, and I've got a little treat for you today. Now, alongside our usual thing of providing lists and content and Simon Miller impressions, turns out we've actually invented cross-dimensional time-traveling portal technology. Who knew? Well, it turns out that I've got this device behind me, which I'm sure looks incredibly sci-fi and expensive, and with it, I can peer into alternate dimensions into the world of wrestling. It's very specific in that respect, and see what could have been and should have been and what might have been, which are kind of the same three things. I might even meet myself in a future episode. Wouldn't that be lovely? So, where are we going to start on our epic journey through time, space, and illogical science fiction? Well, turns out we're going to go to WrestleMania 17. Why? Well, because mainly people think of that as the death of the Attitude Era, and we want to see how it could have been different. So let's just get this out of the way first. WrestleMania 17 in our actual reality was a bit of a barnstormer. There was pretty little wrong with it, except maybe the way it ended. In it, Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit wrestled an absolute scientific stunner. Vince and Shane McMahon told a fabulously over-the-top tale in which Linda discovered her true calling as a catatonic vegetable. Edge and Christian, the Hardy Boys, and the Dudley Boys pretty much killed themselves in the insane spot fest that was their match. Absolute stunt show that was. And the Iron Sheik won a gimmick battle royale, pretty much because of the fact he couldn't move. Oh, and Triple H and The Undertaker played on some inflatables, but it looked dangerous at least. But here we go. Here's the finale. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock. The match itself was perfect. It was bloody, blistered, and absolutely raw. Everything that the Attitude Era stood for. It was the best of times, but unfortunately, it was also the blurst of times. For Vince McMahon came out and, for lack of a better words, killed one of the most lucratively creative moments of his own company. McMahon marched his way down to the ring, unfortunately not blowing both quads on his way down, and pulled The Rock off a successful pinning predicament. Now, The Rock was, understandably, absolutely f***ing livid. He looked like somebody had slapped his mum or made him watch Triple H versus Scott Steiner. Austin capitalized on this and hit Rock in the head with a chair shot, and bish bash bosh, ending out the night, celebrating with Vince McMahon sharing a beer while everyone else stood and pretty much did this. Why? Why? The Unholy Alliance allied, Austin shook the hand of the devil himself and shared a beer with him in his home state of Texas, cementing a failure of a heel turn that nobody wanted to see, except maybe Jeff Jarrett. Austin in years since is on record as stating that he wished he'd called an audible by belting McMahon in his grapefruit-sized balls, spilling seeds everywhere. With Rock off to wow Hollywood, Stone Cold Steve Austin was left at the helm of the HMS Sweat Beast, and it weren't plain sailing. Turns out that turning a major babyface heel by having him ally with the person who put him through so much shit and not having any suitable replacements to come up the card and take him on wasn't actually attractive to audiences. Who knew? The WWF's popularity waned quicker than a Zack Ryder push, and critics everywhere pretty much see this as the death of the Attitude Era. The thing is, though, with a little tweaking, this could have been an absolute godsend, as Vince, lest we not all forget, had just purchased WCW. And in this universe, that could have been the catalyst to give this much-loved era a new lease of life. So first off, the invasion doesn't happen. Not because I don't like the storyline for all of its faults. God help me, I actually do. But in this universe, it's used to create a much bigger invasion further down the line. But more on that later. In this universe, we actually see Stone Cold capture the title in a manner similar to how Bret Hart did it at SummerSlam 1997. It's Vince who plants Rock with a chair shot, then offers him up to Stone Cold. Stone Cold looks around, thinks about it for a while, then takes the opportunity, because let's remember, he's not a hero, he's an anti-hero. And then he finishes off the show by leveling McMahon with a nice big stunner. Now fans had a reason to tune in. Why was Vince apparently siding with his enemy? Was it all part of a greater master plan? In our reality, Austin versus McMahon had started to wane in popularity a bit, but in this reality, they'd seen the potential of Vince versus The Rock, because that never really got the pay-per-view blow-off that it deserved, and would also save Stone Cold Steve Austin from a rather lame heel turn. So as the months go on, Vince reveals to the world that it wasn't actually him allying with Stone Cold, and more that he wanted to destroy The Rock for threatening to leave the company to go off in search of film fame. Now, Rock is obviously sidelined, so he can actually go and film those flicks because Vince loves a bit of cheddar in his back pocket, but it does make an enemy, a refreshed enemy, in Stone Cold Steve Austin, who is so furious that he was ever seen as a puppet in Vince's greater scheme. Then, boom, The Rock comes back at SummerSlam and absolutely melts the face off Vince in a SmackDown hotel-sized Brahma beatdown, which I'm sure Dave Meltzer in this universe gave like 28 stars. Interestingly, what we get from the fallout of this is that The Rock and Austin sitting on the same side of the fence for once. The potential for this in this universe is realized, and soon we have a Mega Powers 2.0, as does the eventful, lucrative split up. It also allows heels to rise up against them, meaning that the top tier platform is slightly larger. So, what about the invasion? Well, it's still here, but there's not an immediate payoff. Here, WCW moves to something like Thursday night, so there's not a direct competition, but still a brand competition going on. Vince puts himself at the helm and makes fun of the WCW brand, gloating over them every once in a while, but still, it's a friendly competition at this point, which makes a huge difference from our timeline where WCW was misused and misbooked. I mean, Hugh Morris couldn't have even beaten an egg, even if he racially abused it. Here, though, they carry on the WCW fashion, basically running out the clock until the more lucrative Time Warner contracts for the bigger stars have finished and they can merge back into the fold. Then, and only then, does Vince make his big mistake. He hands Triple H the keys to the company. Uh-oh, and there's the invasion angle again, but this time with much more star power and weight behind it. Then and only then does the competition kick back into full gear and we get something like the Weekly Wrestling Wars, or something titled a lot better. I could look into the portal behind me and check, but I'm not going to. But what it does make is must-see TV. Just think, instead of the end of our WrestleMania 17 piss-poor ending, we might have gotten something that would have led to WWE versus WCW at WrestleMania 34. Could have still been going strong today. Instead, WWE is still robbing the Attitude Era grave it killed all by itself. And there we go. That was a look into Universe BT 22.3. I'm assuming it's closed now. I've closed it down. I've done the sci-fi shutters. It's over. Let me know what you thought about it down in the comment section below and whether or not you like living in our reality. It's all right. Anyway, why not swing by whatculture.com for more news and articles like this every goddamn day. And as always, I've been Jules, you've been awesome, and I'll speak to you soon. All right, can this thing go on a holiday? Can I go to like a sex island for robots? Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe below, and if you're looking for more content like this, then try a few things that are floating about around my ears. It might be fun. I can't promise it though, but it might be.